Hi, welcome to the session on One-to-One Basics. This is just a way to help you learn how to care for your one-to-one device now that you have it. All right, so first off, I want to talk to you about what's expected now that you have your own device. First of all, please make sure that you read your one-to-one agreement. At the day of registration, both you and your parent were given a sheet to sign that has all the different policies and some of the best practices that go along with having a one-to-one device. If you haven't read it carefully before signing it, not that you would ever do that, but if you didn't, please make sure that you read it. Just so you know, if you go to the Argo webpage, go to where it says School Resources, click on Technology, and then go to the One-to-One Learning Project, you'll find all kinds of information, some do's and don'ts, and just some practices and ways that you can get in touch with people if you have any troubles. So please make sure that you check that out. You also want to make sure that you bring your device and your accessories to class every day. That includes your bag, your keyboard, your charger, and your stylus. Your teachers are counting on you having it, and if you show up without your stuff, you're not going to be able to participate in class and you're going to fall behind. So it's really important that you have everything you need every day for all your classes. And of course, to go along with that, you want to make sure that your device is charged because you don't want to get to second period and find out that you're out of battery and there are no outlets available to you. So please charge it up at night and then make sure that you're ready to go in the morning. This is super important. Your one-to-one device is incredibly valuable, and while it's in your possession, you're responsible for it. If you ever have to step away from your device, for example, in PE class, make sure that it goes in a locker and it's locked up. Same thing, don't give anybody your combination to your regular locker or your PE locker because you could lose this device and then wind up being responsible for paying the replacement cost. Let's talk about some of the best practices now that you're one-to-one. First of all, carry your device in the bag that's provided. I know that some of you probably have backpacks that have a sleeve for computers, but if you're putting your one-to-one device in your backpack and you're piling in your lunch and your water bottle and textbooks, there's a pretty good chance that your device could get damaged. So please, just carry your device in the bag and keep it out of your backpack. Your stylus, of course, is not just any old pen. It's a $50 pen. So you want to make sure that you keep your stylus safe. Try not to drop it because they can be damaged. You don't need to grip it too hard because you may notice that there are buttons on the side that can do things like select things on your screen. I had a kid last year that used to like to click the top of the pen. Like when she was writing with a regular pen, when she was thinking, she'd sit there and she'd click, 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 click with her finger on the button on the top of a pen. When you do that to a stylus, you're actually turning things on and off, or you're taking screenshots. So try to avoid that habit. And most importantly, keep an eye on your stylus. There's no way to tell whose stylus is whose, so if you just leave yours lying around on a desk, it's entirely possible that somebody else could pick it up by mistake, and then you'll be out your stylus. Another best practice is saving your files on OneDrive. If you click on the folder down here at the bottom of your screen, you should have something that says OneDrive Argo Community High School. Get in the habit of saving your files here. The reason that we ask you to use your OneDrive is because it's backed up in the cloud, which means that even if your computer dies or it needs to go in for service, you can still get your documents from any computer that has internet access. I would also recommend that you start making folders that go with the classes that you're taking this semester so that you can keep your things organized and find what you need easily. You've probably also noticed that your device is somewhat locked down. In other words, you're not able to download any old thing that you want to do or go to any sites and download games and whatnot. However, there are times when having certain types of software is really important, and it's important for you to be able to know how to do that safely. So Argo has what's called a software center, and I'm going to show you how you can access that. If you go down to this window pane in the bottom left of your computer and click it, and then type Software Center, or just start typing it, you'll see that this little app comes up. When you click it, it shows you different software programs that Argo has purchased and has a site license for. So if you want right now, you can go ahead and click on Jing. By the way, Jing is one of the programs that I use to make these videos. It does screencasts, so you can record your voice and your screen at the same time. That could come in handy if you were ever going to do some kind of a project or a presentation, or you just want to explain something to somebody. So go ahead, try downloading Jing. It only takes a moment, and then you can go ahead and close the Software Center. So one of the things that you're going to have to manage now that you have your own device is making sure that you can get through the entire day and not use up your entire battery. Now there are a couple things that you can do that will help prolong the battery life so that you can go longer without charging. So let's look at a couple of those things. The first thing you may want to do is, again, go down to the window pane and type in battery saver, or just battery. When you do that, it should bring up this screen, and it gives you a couple of options that might really help. One is this, to turn the battery saver on automatically if your battery level falls below a certain level. So you can set this pretty high, I would say like 80–85%, and what that'll do is it will dim the screen just a little bit. It may reduce some of the things that are going on in the background, but basically it should help extend your battery a little bit. And you can also check this box that says lower the screen brightness while in battery saver. If you click where it says additional power settings, you'll see that you have a couple of choices. It should be set right now at balanced, but if you're finding that you're having a hard time getting through the day without your device running out of charge, you may want to click this power saver. Now there's pros and cons of that. You'll see that as soon as I hit power saver, my screen goes dim, and that's by design because lighting up your screen does take quite a bit of juice. You may though find that as you're using power saver, that your device, if you're using things like streaming a video or you're using a program that's kind of complicated, you may find that your computer gets a little sluggish. Power saver is probably good for things like Microsoft Word, or if you're doing PowerPoint or taking notes in OneNote, you probably won't notice a difference. But if it becomes a problem, you can always switch it back to balanced. Okay. One more option that you can do is you can dim the screen manually, and there's a couple of ways to do that.
Hey everyone, it's Mark for Windows Central, and this is the Surface Pro 3 with the type cover. There is no dedicated screen brightness adjustment on the type cover. However, there are some keyboard shortcuts that will let you do that. So that's the function button and the delete or backspace buttons. So if you press and hold the function button and delete, that will increase the screen brightness. If you press and hold the function and backspace buttons, that will decrease the screen brightness. Also, when you press these buttons, the adjustment will show up here. A notification will show up on the upper left corner. You can slide up or slide down to adjust it directly on the Surface Pro 3. Of course, you could do it the original way, which is to swipe from the right edge of the Surface Pro 3, tap Settings, tap Screen, and then adjust with the slider over here on the lower right corner. That should be it. If you have any questions on the Surface Pro 3 or for more tips on how to, head over to windowscentral.com.
There's a couple other things that you should be aware of with your device. First of all, your device does need to update once in a while, and those things are pushed out automatically. Typically, an update will be something like a fix for a bug, or it might be something like updating your software that protects your device from malware and viruses. But in any case, updates are really important. So you need to make sure that you're restarting your computer daily. Preferably, you'll want to make sure that you turn your device on as soon as you get to school. If you can do that well before first period, that's good, because you don't want to start up your device promptly at 8 o'clock and find out that it's taking 5 to 10 minutes for it to go through all of the updates that are necessary. So please, make sure that you're taking care of this and don't exit out of them because they're important at keeping your device safe. All right, last thing you need to know, but definitely an important one. What do you do if you need help? Well, there's actually a couple of options for you. The first one, probably the easiest one, is to go to the tech deck. That's going to be housed in the cafeteria, and it will be staffed by Argo students who work for the tech department. So they're pretty well trained, and they can probably help you with typical stuff that you might encounter. It should be your first stop for any problem after your teacher. The students in the tech deck have the ability to help you with software problems like this program won't launch correctly or I don't know how to use it, and hardware issues, things like my stylus isn't responding or something like that. You can also go to room 303. That's kind of like stage 2 after the tech deck or your teacher hasn't been able to help you out with your problem. Room 303 is staffed by Mr. Esteban Carrillo, and typically he does stuff that the tech deck people just can't handle. Also, if your device is lost, stolen, damaged, or just needs some kind of repair, this is where you need to report that. All right, we're done now. So, if you have a little bit more time today in Argo hours, here's what I would suggest you do. You could go back and organize your OneDrive. There's a lot of students who have unnamed documents or just documents that are thrown randomly in your OneDrive without any folders. I'd get that taken care of as long as you have the time. You could also go and adjust your power settings, play around with them a little bit, and get them the way you want them. You could go back to the Software Center, browse around, and see what kinds of things you can download. Preferably, you'd only pick the things that you need, but anything that's in there is totally available to you as a student. You may want to, if you haven't lately, restart your device. That's going to allow those updates to happen, and it also kind of keeps your computer fresh and running properly. And if you get all that done, you may want to go back, download Jing Screencast, and just make one, just for fun. Thanks for listening.